Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Why Wednesday Facebook Live. Today, we're taking a look at what Google really wants from your website to allow you to show up in a ranking well. And I've got Peter Brissett with me again today with Digital Marketing Dude. That was easy to say.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter.
What's up, Brad? How you doing?
Very good. How about you?
Good. Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. This is a real interesting one, and the subject you put on it for me when we said, hey, what do we could talk about today was real interesting because the way you're going to go about this wasn't really something I had thought about yet. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, this comes up a lot in general. And of course, the common question that I get with every website is, hey, I want to show up number one for this this search term. And I just built a brand new website. And it's like, okay, I've not done a good job of managing expectations for that. Showing up in a search result is not build it and they will come kind of a situation, which I thought years ago. I built my first website, over 15 years ago. Just kind of like, oh, hey, I want to do this thing. And I built this website and it was basically invisible. I was like, I just thought you just build a website and then lots of people show up. Like,
isn't stealth mode good?
Yeah, it's like it was dark stealth, man, like in the dark web somewhere. But that's what that initial experience made me go, okay, there's more to this. Like, what actually makes a website work? And what makes it get found in the search results? So that's been a more than 15-year journey of studying that, researching that, testing that, rebuilding sites, working with client sites, working with my own websites, and figuring out how that works. So,
but right
amazing, now, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty fascinating, and it takes work, and you can do it. And there's lots of and really a lot of the work can be done by any client, any person. The content is still king. And having really good content written for people to help people. That is what Google wants you to do.
Google wants to answer questions. They want to answer the question the person is asking. If you can do that, you do well.
Yeah. And that's really the basics of it. Mm-hmm. So most of this you can figure out on your own. Why doesn't my page rank for a search term? Well, look at the top 10 other pages, all the pages that show up on the first page of Google, and look at every single one of those pages. And you can just look at the pages and see what's there in the content and see why they're ranking well. Mm-hmm. So there are other factors, but you're not going to get there unless your content is on level with whatever that content is. So anybody can do that. Outside of that, there's some really there's dumb technical stuff that Google's looking at. I think it's dumb, but Google's trying to create an experience, because here a couple years ago, Google went from indexing your website for a desktop machine primarily to indexing every website for mobile only and focusing on mobile first as what they're indexing, because traffic has shifted.
Yeah, it has.
Traffic has shifted. Most websites, for the most part, their highest traffic is coming from mobile devices. And so Google's like, well, if that's the case, there's a few things that we want to encourage that will help the users, right? Their focus is always on the experience of people searching the web, and they're trying to create an experience for them. So that's their goal, is to provide a search result for one thing that is in line with what the intent that the person was searching for, which can be hard to do. But they also want whatever pages are coming up to be formatted well for a mobile device, to load quickly on a mobile device, easy to navigate, all those types of things. So Google's come up with a lot of technical ways to look at that and test that and track that they care about. So, and we can find out exactly what that is. So I'm going to share my screen here.
Oops. Trying to get you to switch over here.
Let me go here. Let me pick the right screen.
It's not swapping.
This is the one that I want. Okay. All right.
I don't know why it's not. I tried to get us to switch and make you the. I'll figure this out. You just keep going.
Okay. All right. So Google's got this set up. It's called web.dev. A lot of this, I feel like they're trying to put this in the hands of the developers, which I don't really like to be beholden to developers, but there's a little bit that we have to do that on that. But here in the measure that we're looking at here is to measure page quality. So there's a tool called, are we good?
There we go.
There we go. So web.dev measure, or you can just Google page speed insights. It's the same thing. So just for fun, I'm going to throw my website in here. I haven't checked this in a while, so hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's part of what I want to talk about. Is it doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
But you're going to see differences depending on the platform that your website is built on and what your website is built with. All right, so overall performance, Google's saying 34, accessibility 83, best practices and SEO. All right, so speed index 7, so it's not great. So there's a couple things here we could look at. I've got some video and some background video on that front page. That's probably, if I took that off, that would probably fix that whole thing, and that would be better.
People love their video on their front page, though.
Yeah. So it depends on how you implement the video and different ways to do that.
Okay.
That will help you figure that. But this is a good tool to kind of give you that initial kind of, what does that look like from an overall standpoint? So let's actually look at the page speed insight tool, and this will give us a little more information. Let's look at it here. It's saying it doesn't like that. Let's do this. Well, oh, I spelled it wrong. It would help if I spelled correctly.
The value of glasses.
Well, especially once you're over 50.
Preach into the choir.
Yeah. So let's see here. Yeah. So mobile's not great. 38. We got some video. So the easiest thing to do is just like turn off the video on mobile, and that would probably fix that, and it'd probably be a lot better. Let's see what desktop is. Desktop 62, not great. Again, we got some video.
What are you shooting for?
Well, for the most part, Google's not going to penalize you at this point because most of our smaller websites and kind of small business websites don't get much traffic. So there's not actually a lot of data that's getting collected. So right here it says, discover what real users are experiencing. No data. Most websites are going to be exactly that. No data. There's no data for Google to say, oh, this is good or bad.
Right.
Because there just isn't enough traffic to make it measurable. So we could take that video off of there, off of that page, and this would be dramatically better.
Hmm.
Now, the other thing you can look at is the type of hosting. So if you got a basic WordPress website on a basic host, let's look at one. Let's look at this site here. So I won't say what platform this is. Come on. Yeah. Google's tools were not working very good there. All right, let's take a look at this site. And let's see how this does.
So what you're saying here is that speed is really king, and if you've got a really slow website, you can have the right content, but you're not getting the performance you need out of it because Google doesn't like it.
Yeah, in particular for mobile device. So while Google may not be penalizing you or penalizing this site, if a user comes on here and it takes too long for it to load, like we were looking at with mine, that's way too long for it to load.
They're bouncing.
Like I'm out. So if it's taking, 6 seconds, 7 seconds for something to load, I'm already gone. You got less. I mean, you got about 5 to 6 seconds. If you're getting to 7 seconds, it might be too long.
Page speed insight. They're really going to want it. They're going to have to know they want it instead of a search where they're like, oh, let's see if this is worthwhile. They're gone.
Yeah.
Already.
Yep.
So this is
usually your desktop
with Google. That's how they find this.
If you just Google Page Speed Insights, this will come up.
Gotcha.
And you can jump in there. So now that's that's one of the better hosting companies out there. Let's do another one. This is a pretty small site. Yeah, this is actually on GoDaddy. And not a big fan of GoDaddy in general for hosting. I think they're fine for domains and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But their hosting in the past has been a little bit difficult to work with. But well, I just ran this one a minute ago. What's going on?
Didn't give it to you. Ooh, on a different subject, I'm getting Starlink.
Starlight?
Starlink.
Oh, Starlink.
Internet service.
Oh, awesome.
I've had Comcast for double the money and business and all this. And
so here's this is on GoDaddy. Really basic, small, tiny, just a 3 or 4 page WordPress website. Not much content. Very light.
They don't have videos, and it just loads like crazy, huh?
No videos. No too big of pictures or anything, and it's great. So now there's other platforms that we will put sites on. So there's some sites that are really large. So I have a client that has a huge website.
Right. That was my next question was, if you've got a big, beautiful website, some of these load well. How do they do that?
It's almost, there's some on what you can do on the platform, but it's really all about hosting.
So you got to spend a lot of money on the host. Not all hosts are
equal. So the big names like GoDaddy, SiteGround, some of these, WP Engine for WordPress. For this particular client, I could not get the page load speeds to come up no matter what I did on the technical setup on the site itself. And I found a different host and whole different situation with a different host. Changed nothing with the website, just transferred it all over to a new host. And now we're getting 100 on mobile.
I'm sorry, what? So you've got a technical page that's getting a perfect score.
Yeah. Mobile and desktop. Okay, so WordPress website, SiteGround couldn't do it. WP Engine couldn't do it. I tried their top of the line hosting that they had. I'm like, how much do I got to pay for this to get this to work? And they're like, oh, we can't do any better. It's your website. They kept saying, it's your website. It's your website. It's your website. A lot of them are using old technology.
Right.
And it's not able to, get the pages to perform at this level.
So this begs the question: where is this place? Is it something that you keep secret, or is this something you share with
They need to come talk to me. I'm keeping it secret. They can come talk to me, and I can get you set up. $25 a month. If you need super fast hosting, it's $25 a month. Come see me.
That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, and we'll take care of you. It's not expensive to do it. So, but what you see here too is these Core Web Vitals. So this has enough traffic on it that users, it's measuring user experience. So smaller sites, it doesn't come up. Remember, no data found.
Right.
But here, this site's getting enough traffic and it's large enough that all these things, these Core Web Vitals, are the things that Google's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So this all has to do with the mobile experience. How fast does something come up? Is there information that quickly comes up and then other information loads later? And then, things are kind of stacked on top of each other so that it's a good experience for the user. So these things are the things Google's looking at. I don't fully understand each of these. I kind of do. And they got pictures and a lot of things, but that's why, it's kind of the developers taking over on it. But there's that's kind of where this is going. I haven't seen that Google's making ranking decisions yet based on this data. There's nothing that I can see that if your LCP was in the red, that Google would ding you in your ranking.
Oh, I can't imagine they're not.
Well, I don't think it's happening yet because this is still pretty new, but I think it will happen.
Yeah, if it's not happening already, it definitely will. But I'm conspiracy theorist. I think it's already happening.
Yeah, right. So
I mean, if they're willing to take you off of messaging on your Google page, if you don't respond within 24 hours,
yeah,
they're willing to dock you for a slow, or they will be willing to, one of the two, for a slow website.
Yeah, Google's, the thing about Google is that they start telling you that this is important, that means they're going to do something with it at some point.
Yes. Now, so Digital Marketing Dude is not on this one.
No, we're not on this platform. So we build on another specific platform, and I got to clean up this stuff. This is a much larger website, and this hosting and WordPress and all that's a whole different thing. But and actually, we're redesigning our website right now.
Will you go to this, or will you go on the other one and then
try it? My platform, once I get there, because I got to tell you, for most websites, this is not a big deal. For a site this size and this much traffic as she gets, this is important. But for most of our small business websites, you're getting, 1,000 visitors a month or something like that.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
So you're going to optimize other things. You're not going to necessarily do this unless you get into bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. If for some reason the site's bigger and it's becoming more of an issue and yeah, then you can look at, making that transition. But if your site's in the 70% for mobile, you're fine. It doesn't have to be in 100%.
Gotcha. But if you're at the 30s, you want to get it up to 70s.
If you're in 30s, yeah, that's pretty slow. Like there's something wrong if you're in the 30s. So there's some content on the page, and I could see that I got a video on the homepage that's not loading correctly. So there's different ways to set up your video. I think I just have it linked to a YouTube video, which YouTube videos, if you just do a YouTube embed, for whatever reason, it takes forever to load on a page.
Yep.
and slows it down.
I'll
So
have to
there's
try this with Top Hat and see how.
there's different ways to there's different ways to put video on a site to help that and have it do lazy load and some other things so that it will so that the page will load faster. But I'm sure if I did another page on the site, it'd probably load just fine. So anyway, so that was a little bit of what I wanted to talk about, that Core Web Vitals, and kind of what you kind of need to worry about and not need to worry about. If you run this PageSpeed Insights and none of the Core Web Vitals come up, at this point you have nothing to worry about because it's not even being tracked at this point.
Right.
Once it starts being tracked, that's when you're going to be concerned about it for your website and looking at different options and seeing what you need to do with it. But
makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. People can get in touch with you. How is the best way?
Yeah. Hit the website, dmdude.com. Hopefully it loads okay. And just schedule. You can schedule right off the website and want to have a chat, talk about your website, whatever.
Yep.
Happy to take a look at it and run some checks and see what you might need to do.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for your time, Peter. Really appreciate it. And a lot of interesting stuff there.
Take care.